Food insecurity is a major concern for many Canadians. With the high cost of living, many struggling to make ends meet, and it's led to rising rates of food bank usage in this country. Now, a new survey by Nanos Research shows 1 in 5 Canadians say they or someone they know used a food bank within the past 12 months. CTV's Tony Grace is on this story for us this morning. He starts us off with more. Tony, what is this new snapshot revealing about the need for help with food and what households are doing to make ends meet?
Yeah, Marcia, good morning. A really revealing look at not only the number of people who are now just one connection away from a food bank or perhaps using it themselves, but even in spite of having trouble putting food on the table, it's revealing what Canadians are doing to try and help others because so many people around them are in this situation as well. Let's get right to some of those top line numbers. As you mentioned, 1 in 5 Canadians now say they are using a food bank or their family or friends are using a food bank. Almost 1 in 5. And almost 2/3, 66%, say there just isn't enough food support out there for Canadians. And I want to switch to another slide right now, too, because something else that this food bank survey looked at was what people are doing in their own households, even if they're having trouble putting food on the table. So, and actually, this is what I should say this is actions people are taking. Perhaps if they're not going to the food bank, they're buying less expensive food. That's almost 2/3. But it goes beyond, looking for sales and couponing. Almost 30% say they're stockpiling food now. 21% say they're eating less. So this is a really revealing snapshot showing us that this is a lot closer to home than a lot of people think. A lot of people may think. Marcia, I remember years ago doing stories about food banks, and one of the things that people at local food banks kept saying to us was they introduced this term, the working poor, and that's how they described the people they were seeing in food banks. Now, it's not only that, it's going well beyond that, and it's going right down to people who perhaps are buying groceries one week and going to food banks the next week. Very revealing.
So with that in mind, Tony, and I agree, we used to use that term, are Canadians' attitudes towards this crisis changing? What are you learning on that front?
And this was a survey of 1,000 people taken just a week ago. So this is really as up to date as it gets when it comes to the lay of the land here. It was a nationwide poll. Almost 2/3 say they don't believe that enough is being done, that there isn't enough support for people who rely on food banks or who are experiencing food insecurity. But let's get to a slide showing you what people say they're doing to try and help, because 58% say, perhaps even in spite of their own circumstances, this is such a problem among people around them that they're taking these kinds of actions to help others. So 40% of people in the survey said they had donated to a food bank in the last year. Almost a fifth, 18%, had given food or money to a family or friend. 14% had loaned money to a family member or friend. And then talk about, putting your time where your mouth is as well. 42% have volunteered with the food bank. So it seems that the desire to help is out there, whether it's providing some food for your family members out of your own pantry or going to a food bank to try to make a difference. It seems, Marcia, and this is what advocates have been telling us for some time, that the need is outpacing even the generosity in this country when it comes to trying to make a dent in food insecurity, a crisis that our communities are experiencing right down to the local level.
Tony, thanks for that. You've given us a lot to think about this morning.
Thank you.
Tony Grace for us. Appreciate it.